Well, it's LE season.
That means limited edition.
And the FOMO is real.
And that means fear of missing out.
We know. We've been FOMOing hard. There's been some limited editions that we've missed out on this year.
Yeah, that's true. And we know from the comments that there have definitely been ones that you guys haven't been able to find.
But don't worry, we're here to bring you 5 limited edition alternatives. It's Bourbon Night. Hello, I'm Chad.
I'm Sarah.
And as we said, limited edition LE for short gets tougher and tougher every year.
It really does. Actually, you know, Chad, I think some of the ones that we are about to talk about in this episode are the first bottles that you and I, the first 2 bottles that we ever stood in line for. That we were actually able to get, back in 2015. Both of them, I think, of the ones that I'm talking about, we were not able to get this year. We are fortunate enough to have some patrons and some friends and fans of the channel that help us get our hands on bottles so we can review them for things like the best of the year contention.
As Ringo said, I get by with a little help from my friends.
That's true.
Right, there you go. So let's go ahead and dive right into it with number 1. E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof. Now this year, this is the 2021. This one is sort of on loan again from a friend helping us out because
we couldn't get one. But like all things from Buffalo Trace, it has become increasingly more difficult to get our hands on.
That's right.
So we're looking for, while we could get our hands on this, like what is a good substitute? What's a good alternative for this? It's $75 MSRP, which is not bad, but oh, if you could only find it, how funny. So what do we think is a good alternative for this one, Chad?
This is one, actually, when we were tasting these and we were sort of blinding each other, this one was actually kind of tough until like second sips and then it came through. But we are saying Benchmark Full Proof at less than $30. This is on
22
sale in our
we
area
got it
for $22. 125 proof this year of the E.H. Taylor is 127.1.3, excuse me.
Same mash bill.
Yeah,
from
mash
Buffalo
bill
Trace.
number 1. I think this one is perfect, and this is why we're leading with it, because instead of like, can't find William LaRue Weller, get something from this other distillery. Now this is the same distillery, down to the same mash bill.
Right, we just know, they've treated it differently. And like you said, on the second sip when we were comparing these blind, I did notice, a little bit more of a grain-forward note come through mid-palate of the Benchmark, but otherwise, I found it to be really enjoyable, and we've had it before and liked it, and I was happy to find a nice alternative.
Exactly. So now, Sarah, you have the E.H. Taylor, I have the Benchmark, screw top versus cork. Oh, the ultimate battle.
I think it'll be fine.
Okay, trade.
The noses are similar, related. Again, a little bit more grain forward comes through on the Benchmark.
A lot closer than you would think, though.
A lot closer than you would think. Again, like we said, I think the corn is more prominent in the Benchmark, whereas you get more of those notes that come with, age and extra time in the oak. A little bit more oaky notes, some leather, tobacco here on the E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof. But still, they're definitely related, and I think, again, a good swap out.
I feel like we are working with some older and some more choice barrels in the Taylor, but, again, available and less than $30.
But wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more if you act now. Now, we picked this one because we felt this, the best through line.
Most comparable.
But also, at Buffalo Trace, at Barrel Proof, from mash bill number 1, we have Stag Jr. and George T. Stag.
Soon to be just Stag.
Soon to be just Stag for the Stag Jr. But those are also hard to find.
Right, because most people would say, oh, well, if you can't find George T. Stag, just get Stag Jr. or what's soon to be Stag. But that's also almost impossible to find. So we think this would work for that too.
Yeah.
Old Forester Birthday Bourbon. Now, this is the actual first bottle. Well, not this one. But the 2015 was the first bottle that Chad and I ever stood in line together to get. And we both did get bottles. We did not get this year's release, the 2021 release. It's okay, though.
FOMO.
We do have some FOMO.
Because, birthday bourbon isn't always our jam, but we know it's very sought after.
We recognize it might be your jam.
It is an LE. So we got to tasting some things. We found one that, now this is gonna be true of everything on this list, but for this one we actually like better.
When we did it blind, we both picked this one instead.
And that is the 1897 Bottled in Bond from the Whiskey Row series from Old Forester. Yes. So $50 versus $130 for the new release of Birthday Bourbon. proof on these change.
Right.
Sometimes they're low 90s, sometimes they're a little bit over 100.
Right. Like in recent years, we've seen just a little bit above 100. And then just disclaimer, this bottle is actually from 2019 that we compared against. As we said, we do not have a 2021, so we couldn't compare it against this year's.
Well, we picked the 105 proof one because we're like, let's pick one of the higher proof ones from recent years and compare it.
To the Bottled and Bond.
And still, the Bottled and Bond is the one that we picked. It just had more barrel notes.
I felt like it had more body and it wasn't as fruity, which for me can be kind of a killer when it comes to Old Forester. Like when it goes super fruity, like orange peel, banana, that type of stuff is really where I get lost. That's why I tend to gravitate, we tend to gravitate more towards like 1920, and even though Old Forester won 50th. But this, like you said, when we tasted them back to back, like this had more notes that we like, but we also felt like it was very comparable. And again, if you can save money and the time hunting, why not?
Michter's Toasted Barrel. Now here's an LE that doesn't even come out every year. That's how LE it is. Just how LE is it, Sarah?
Oh my gosh.
But this is the 2021. We have to thank the person who brought this to our meetup. And then we also have to thank them for leaving it.
Yes.
It was
for bestowing this gift upon us.
A fuzzy weekend, so I can't remember right now who that was.
They know who they are.
But you know who you are. Thank you for
remind us, please, because we're sorry.
But, the Toasted Barrel, this is the 2021, as we said, at 91.4 proof. This is one of our favorite ones that comes in under 100, that's sort of hanging around the 90 proof area even. Always exceptional.
Now, I think Michter's is a bit of a challenge because I think Michter's, even not the Toasted Barrel, has some toasty qualities to it when it comes to just their regular distillate. And they're kind of unique with their low barrel entry proof. So I think it's kind of a challenge to find something that can be a substitute, but
we recommend
Elijah Craig Toasted Barrel.
That's right.
Right.
94 proof.
So close in proof.
Close in proof.
You know, they actually have almost identical mash bills.
That's right.
So the Michter's is 79 corn, 11% rye, and 10% malted barley, whereas this one is 78% corn, 10% rye, and 12% malted barley.
Malted barley.
Martha
Barley is in this one.
It's a tongue twister. Close in proof.
Half the price. This one we're looking at around $50.
Whereas this one sits at 100, and that is MSRP.
Again, if
assuming
you
can find it on the shelf.
Now the thing with this one, Sarah, is this one can also be a little bit harder to find.
Technically, to my understanding, it was also, in its own way, a limited release. It's not something that's out all year round, right? But it will be easier to come by than a bottle of this, and cheaper.
Yes.
If you can find it.
There you go. Okay, before we continue on to the next one, we want to hit pause for just a second and tell you about our home on the internet. It is whiskyambitions.com. If you are watching this on the day this video comes out, it's Black Friday 2021, and we have a doorbuster deal.
Deals.
Deals. Sunday, or Friday. On a special It's Bourbonnight monogram logo hat that is available while supplies last. It's only $15, no coupon code needed.
But there is a coupon code for everything else on the site. It's IBN Holiday 2021, and that'll get you 10% off through November 29th.
2021.
That's right, 2021, because I don't know when you're watching this video. But
on everything besides that hat. We also have the Drink More Bourbon hat, the It's Bourbonnight hat, t-shirts, hoodies, long sleeves, sweatshirts.
He's gonna name everything on the catalog.
Copitas, Glencairns, rocks glasses, water glasses, pins, candles.
Wake me up when you're done.
Usually that wakes her up, candles.
We do have candles. I'm working on restocking.
And more always coming soon at whiskyambitions.com.
You can become a patron at patreon.com/itsbourbonnight and join our community for as little as $1 a month. We have just released a bunch of barrel picks recently. We've got more coming on the way. Actually, next week we're doing a 1792 foolproof pick that'll be out in coming months. Let's see, what else do we have coming up? A Yellowstone pick, a Knob Creek bourbon that'll be released in early 2022.
That's right.
We got all kinds of stuff. A Peerless Rye. Things are stacking up for next year, and the first place you get access to it is at patreon.com/itsbourbonnight, and sometimes it's the only place you get access to it. So
usually
go join us. Four Roses limited edition small batch. Now, of the bottles I spoke of at the beginning, this is the second bottle ever that we stood in line for together. And we have successfully since then been able to get every year's Four Roses LE except this year.
So really, it's been the two that started it have been
The first two
that have dropped off.
And I make it sound like we're able to get everything. Like, that's not true. But I think those we've been getting just for sentimental value, as well as reviewing for the channel. But
Absolutely.
This one hurt this year when we couldn't get it. It stung a little.
Yeah.
You know, we've been thinking like, what can we do? How do we make ourselves feel better? How do we put salve on this wound?
Well, so this one actually, we have two suggestions. The first one is going to be the attainable, much easier one. The second one's going to take a little bit more work, but let's just go with the easy one first. We recommend not having bottles break as you pull them from the side.
That woke me up.
We recommend Four Roses Small Batch Select. Maybe a little bit of a no-brainer.
I mean, the bottle shape is almost identical.
The bottle
Chad.
shape is the same, Sarah.
Is it exactly the same?
Exactly the same. Look at that.
Look at that. I mean, this is a blend of a few, barrels, and this is a blend of a few barrels, so.
Yeah, a few different recipes. 6 recipes we know on this one.
Right.
This changes every year. This is going to remain the same. Proof changes on this one. This one remains at 104 proof.
I believe this year's was a blend of 4 recipes
I believe you're
of
right.
different ages.
The price on this one is going to be $150, while this one's going to be $55. So that's easier. This will be a little bit less in proof. As I say, they vary. This is the 2020 bottle, which is 55.7% ABV, 111.4. So there are some differences, obviously, but this is the easy route.
Well, I mean, this I see on the shelf like all the time, the Four Roses small batch select.
Yeah.
And I do love that it's non-chill filtered versus the regular small batch. Well, I haven't tasted it yet. Excuse you, back off.
Lobster boy.
Mouthfeel, fruity, floral, deep, rich, cherry.
And 2020 wasn't even our most favorite of the past 5 years. But Small Batch Select, pretty good. Of the ones that are out there that are available, the 80 proof, the small batch, and the single barrel, the Small Batch Select is definitely the one to go for if you're trying to get near this.
Yes,
now.
I agree with you, Chad. And I would say, like, between these two comparatively, on the Small Batch Select, we're not getting as much of that deep richness, which I think comes from those older barrels being blended in here. Not quite that exceptional mouthfeel that we get on the Four Roses LEs, but it's very close, I think it's just lacking maybe a little bit in the finish, but I think it's a really great, go-to.
Yes, agreed.
Well, what else could we do?
Talking about the more difficult.
Ooh, the more challenging.
And the bottle that I almost broke just a second ago.
An experiment.
We're talking about getting a couple, we recommend 3 of the barrel proof single barrels of different recipes and blending your own LE. Now, we have experience with this just recently in a challenge we did for charity where we had all 10 recipes at our disposal. We blended a small batch of 5 different recipes, and we were getting LE vibes off it, Sarah. So if you have the means to get some single barrels, blend them together to your heart's content,
to your liking,
to taste.
We should note that will also be a challenge in and of itself because you don't often see too many Four Roses single barrels floating around out there, let alone the 3 recipes that you want to blend together. And then also at that rate, you're also not going to be saving too much compared to this.
No, but you get more quantity.
You will get more quantity, that is true.
And you still have the single barrels to drink on their own.
If you could get 2 friends, or 3 friends, or 4 friends, however many friends you want who have their own...
Only you could get 2 friends.
However many friends you can rub together to get... No, that sounds awful. To get a blend out of that. It could be a party. It'll be fun.
What kind of party are you talking about? That's a little bit more work, but I would say more fun way to get an alternative to the Four Roses Small Batch Limited Edition. Bardstown Bourbon Company, Chateau de la Bade. Now, here's an LE, Sarah, that we had completely given up any hope that we would have a bottle in our collection.
Yes, the first time we tasted this was actually at Bardstown Bourbon Company. We were there for something else, and Danny Bardstown, who I hope we know and love. I hope you follow him on Instagram.
Follow him on at Danny Barstown.
Yes, because he will tell you about the releases and things. But he was like, hey, come here, come to the bar. You guys gotta try this. And it was like the last little bit of this Chateau de Lavande bottle, and he pours it, and he's like, good, right? And I was like, oh, the skin is melting off my face. This is so good. He was like, yeah, that's the last of it that we have, like, ever, so sorry. And I was like, why would you do this to me? I didn't know I liked Armagnac until last year. Yeah. Now I love Armagnac.
So this is a little bit more obscure, Ellie, to put on the list. That's why we saved it for 5th, but we did want to sort of veer off the...
Well, it's kind of got its own little cult following now.
Yeah. MSRP on this was originally, what, $130?
$125.
$125? Mm-hmm. Now it's going on secondary for $1,500?
Up to $1,500 we've seen.
So that just goes to show you the clout that it has around it.
It was so well received that they're now aging another set of bottles, right?
And I know you want a little pour. So
I do want a little pour.
Go ahead.
So they're already working on the next release of this, but it's got to age. This one is aged in the Armagnac barrels for 18 months. So it needs to spend some time in there. So like, what are you going to do until those come out? What if those come out and it's still limited, right? As it will be. And you aren't able to get a bottle. Like, what are we going to do?
What are we going to do?
What are we going to do? Well, thankfully, our friends at Iron Root have come out with the Saints Alley line, and this is the Herald, and this is their stuff. It's actually a marriage of their distillate and MGP, and then it's aged in Armagnac casks.
It's a collaboration between them and Liquor Hound, and we had this in Texas not too long ago. And as Sarah melts
into one small puddle.
Yeah. Now we should also we must thank.
Oh, we must thank Clark and Betsy because without them we would not
bestowed this bottle upon us.
I mean, it was an honor.
Yes.
Without them, we would not have this bottle. We had honestly given up hope that we would ever have one until they gifted it to us, and you can see we're enjoying it because it was only gifted recently. So, but I was super thrilled. We were at the Bastards Ball, and Iron Root had a tent, and they were sampling out some new stuff, and they were like, "Wait, we've got something for you," because they are just so generous, and aren't they just the licorices? There's not people like them. They're just so great. So when we saw this, we were like, yeah, beeline, because we know we love this and we know we love them. So I was like, yes, please give me that. It's so nice. Now, I think we should say that while there is also a price and availability difference, this one is rolling out across the country at Total Wines.
Yeah, all Total Wines.
This one, good luck. While there is a price and availability difference, this one is aged in the Armagnac cask for 18 months. And it is higher proof, so you're gonna get a richer, it's bold, right?
118.4, while this one is 107. And we weren't able to find information on how long this was aged in the Armagnac casks, but by the taste and our opinion, we would say maybe not as long, but bearing it's also a little bit lower proof. We still give the nod here, but man, it's so good.
Give me this.
To have an alternative now to something like the Chateau de Lavande.
And you still get some characteristics of their distillate coming through, which I really like because I like their stuff.
Yeah.
But also with that delicious Armagnac, and it's not overpowering. You're getting a nice balance between the whiskey and the Armagnac there.
It's a
progression.
It's a good through line though. You can definitely taste the through line
of the Armagnac
from here to here. Of the Armagnac. They are relatives.
Now, Chad, I have to say, we had this bottle when we did the holiday episode, but it had not and still has not yet rolled out across the country. If this had been available in our area when we made the best bourbons and ryes to drink for the holidays, this would 100% have been on it. So if it's available at Total Wine in your area, you should pick this up. It's totally worth it.
Absolutely.
This is $80. This one is $125.
$125 when it was available.
When it was available. I don't know what you'll see it for now.
That's right. Well, Sarah, I feel a little bit better now with my FOMO that there are at least 5 other alternatives out there that can quench that thirst.
Sure, and I think we made a lot of good points throughout the episode of reasons why things are good substitutes, whether it be a savings on the price, availability, mash bill comparisons.
Sometimes taste even being better.
Taste is the #1 place where it matters, and we tested and approved all of these. So just know that we're not just pulling these things out of thin air.
IBN approved.
We blind tasted them against each other and made sure that we felt that there was a connection. I think there were some still on the list that we could continue to explore, and
Absolutely.
I bet you guys have ones that you would like to see. So let us know down in the comments, what are the LE substitutes or alternatives that you guys want to see, because we may do a part 2. I don't know.
Right. You could also let us know down below, what is your biggest FOMO of 2021? What did you miss out on that you really wished you had gotten? Let us know both of those things down in the comments. And if you haven't subscribed to us already, we'd love to have you. You can click right up here to do so. There's suggestions of other videos down here. We hope to see you over there in one of those. Thanks, Sarah.
Thanks, Chad.
Okay, until next time, drink more bourbon.